All right, let's jump into this week's college football picks.
Five college football picks. And we got all top five teams, plus a first ranked matchup.
Nice. All right,
so
first one.
Start it out. It's probably the game of the week.
The hardest one for me to pick.
Number 4, Ohio State, going to number 3, Penn State. Ohio State 6-1, 3-1 Big Ten. Penn State 7-0, 4-0 Big Ten. Ohio State on the road, -3.5 favorites.
Yep.
Last week, Ohio State, probably one of the most unimpressive performances of the year. They had a close game at home against Nebraska, but you can almost say the same about Penn State. It was not the most convincing win. They went to Wisconsin and won 28-13, but also not convincing. I think it's a case of both teams. They were looking forward to this matchup, so they both got the wins out of the way. But this game of the week, it's at 11 a.m. too, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is. Man, Ohio State lost that close game to Oregon right before the bye, which has really vaulted Oregon up, kept them up there, which is awesome. Oregon's those people right now. Ohio State has been good, but they're going to need Will Howard to really perform this week better than he has, because Penn State's got a good team.
Penn State's a very good team.
Good defense.
Penn State, their quarterback is questionable for the game.
And they're
undefeated.
If they don't have the quarterback, they got to go with a redshirt sophomore in Bo LaPiretta or something like that. Or Pavallo, something. Either way, I think Ohio State's going to win because of the quarterback uncertainty, because of the overall, better offense generally from Ohio State. I know their last performance wasn't very indicative of that, but I think Ohio State's going to win.
I think it's going to be a very close game. These two teams historically have played close games. They've over the past probably 10, 15 years. These are two of the teams that when they play usually determines who's playing in the Big Ten championship. It has conference title implications. But I agree with you. I think Ohio State's going to go on the road. I think it's going to be a very close game, but I'm leaning Buckeyes to get
Remember what happened last time you said it was going to be a very close game?
Which one was that?
Torrential blowout, Notre Dame Navy.
I think you agreed.
I did.
Let's go to the next game.
Duke at Miami. Duke is 6-2, 2-2 in the ACC. Miami, number 5, 8-0, 4-0 in the ACC.
But they've shown Miami last week dominated Florida State, but before that, 3 straight close games where honestly they should have lost 2 of those games.
Yeah.
So they're a team that they've been known to play to their opponents.
To pull it out, and they did.
They've been known to play to their opponents. So the only reason I bring that up is they open as they're 20.5-point favorites,
which I think it's going to be a close game.
A little surprising. I mean, Duke last week almost beat a ranked SMU team at home, lost in overtime.
Right, but Miami leads the. What do you say when you're talking about all of college football?
The country.
Miami leads the country in points per game, 41.8 points per game. Average for the season. I mean, yeah, I get Duke almost beat SMU, but this isn't SMU we're talking about. This is Miami, who, even if they've allowed some
almost
scores,
lost to Cal, who should have lost to Virginia Tech, but they took a Hail Mary away, which is bullshit.
Well, maybe they saw something. Cam Ward's been efficient.
Almost lost to Louisville.
Cam Ward's been protective. He's thrown for 2,700 yards, 24 touchdowns.
Yes, but their defense also gives up big plays.
They do.
I agree. I think Miami wins the game. I don't think it's by 3 touchdowns.
It might. It's hard to win by 3 touchdowns. It's hard.
But I think we both agree Miami gets the win.
Miami does win.
They move to 9-0. They continue to be the ACC leaders.
Is there a ACC championship at the end of the year?
Yes, there is.
Is it called that?
Yes.
Nice.
All the conference championships are just called the Conference Plus Championship.
That makes it easy to remember.
Yes.
I like them. All right, let's go to the next game. Oregon at Michigan.
Number 1 team in the country, Oregon Ducks, 8-0.
Man, Michigan
5-0 Big Ten.
Fell apart, huh?
Michigan, they're still 5-3, 3-2 in the Big Ten.
Did they go 5-0 to start or 4-1 to start? And then
possibly. They did win last week against Michigan State, and then also fought Michigan State at the end. Literally fought them. Yeah. Oregon, as we talked about earlier, coming off the huge win over Illinois. Michigan, former champs, or defending champs, as we should say. They're definitely not going to defend that title.
They got 4 starting quarterbacks, which is a big issue.
One of them retired this week.
I would have retired
because of concussion. It's he was 25 years old though in college.
That sucks.
But Oregon, 14.5-point favorites on the road at Michigan. I think that's totally justified.
Yeah.
Oregon has been flying lately since their close game against Ohio State, which arguably should have been close. They've dominated Purdue 35-0. They beat Illinois 38-9. So it seems like the offense is rolling, the defense is rolling. I think Oregon goes into Michigan Stadium and rolls.
Yeah, I agree. I think Oregon's going to win. I think Dylan Gabriel is going to perform well. I think Michigan, I believe you told me this when we were talking about Michigan a few weeks ago, that they like to hold on to the ball.
Yes, they're very much
run the clock out. I just don't see them being able to move the ball well
against Oregon. And Oregon, if they get up 2 touchdowns quick, which, they're known, they're an explosive team like that.
Right.
Michigan can't pass their way out of that.
Right, and I think that leads to that big win for Oregon you're talking about. So we agree there. Let's go to the next one.
Next one, big SEC rivalry.
Really?
Oh yeah, huge rivalry. They play at a neutral site every year in Jacksonville. It's known as the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
That still seems like a Florida game, home game for me. If they're playing in Florida when Georgia has to travel.
They have the crowd split half and half. Play Jacksonville. It's a big
cool
thing. Florida 4-3, 2-2 in the SEC. They have won 3 out of the last 4 though, so maybe they're starting to win a little. Billy Napier's starting to turn it around finally. Taking on the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs, 6-1, 4-1 in the SEC. Georgia, their last game, they had a bye last week. Their last game was the big win at Texas.
Yep.
Florida last week. Probably the most complete performance of the year, beating the shit out of Kentucky, 48-20. Georgia, at the neutral site, 16.5-point favorites over their rival.
Yeah, Carson Beck, good. I know he's been lackluster with yardage, but he's been efficient.
I would say Carson Beck,
Not good for Georgia. They've used him well.
Yeah.
15
he's
touchdowns.
Holding him back.
Maybe. We don't know. We'll never see this year because he's playing as their quarterback. Billy Napier has been turning it around. I agree. I just don't think they're going to continue to find that success here.
I mean, this is going to be a tough game for them.
Yeah,
their only loss in those 3, I said they won 3 out of 4. Their only loss was the overtime loss to Tennessee, which isn't a bad loss.
Given that Florida is having a pretty rough season, is this pretty much just a money game for them?
No, it's an SEC game.
That was what I was wondering.
SEC rivalry game.
I pick Georgia to almost blow out Florida this week.
I got Georgia winning. They could blow. This is a weird game because it's a rivalry game where it could end up being a very close game. But I'm going to pick the Bulldogs. I think it might be closer than 16.5. Something's telling me it's going to be a close game. But I got Georgia winning. I'm
going to have to jot all these notes down of all these close games you think and come back to that later. Let's go to the last game, Pittsburgh at SMU.
The only first-ranked matchup, an ACC matchup at that. SMU, their first year in the ACC.
So we're covering 2 ACC games this week.
Yes, so
nice.
Pitt is 7-0, 3-0 in the ACC. SMU, as I said, first year in the ACC, 7-1, 4-0 in the conference.
And 14-0 against conference opponents. Even in their last division as well.
They combined. I believe they won the AAC last year. SMU last week, overtime win against Duke. Pittsburgh last week beat the shit out of Syracuse. A good win for them. I think this is both teams ascending programs quietly. There's 4 teams currently undefeated in the ACC play. It's Pittsburgh, SMU, Miami, and Clemson.
Everybody's talking. You're putting Clemson and Miami in their own bracket.
Everybody's talking about Clemson and Miami. These are the 2 teams nobody's talking about. Where whoever wins this is in prime position to continue winning and possibly get an ACC title berth. And if you win the ACC, you're going to the playoffs.
Looking at Pitt, they've scored a bunch of points in a bunch of games. They've scored 55 against Kent State, 73 against Youngstown State.
Yeah, but Kent State and Youngstown State.
I know. I'm just saying, good for them. That's one of the things that I think is building on all their offensive stats, those big high-scoring victories. I lean SMU. They're big favorites here for some reason, minus 300, which I consider decently big. Heyo. I pick SMU to win. I think the Cowboys, or is it the Mustangs? I pick the Mustangs, go in there and get it done.
I actually disagree. I think Pitt goes to SMU. Pitt gets the win. Something's telling me this Pitt team is good. They've looked good the past few weeks.
Okay.
They've really any of the games that have tested them, they've passed the test with flying colors. I got the Pitt Panthers winning.
Nice. Let's go to NFL Week 9. We got 5 more games, and then we'll wrap up with all of our picks and the bets for the week. So starting off, we got the Dolphins at the Bills.
AFC East matchup, a rematch from Week 2 where Tua got concussed.
Hamlin concussed him at that. So Hamlin found a way to get back in the news. on that one. Dolphins, I think, are going to click more on this game. They got Tua back, obviously, like we said.
Dolphins, by the way, 2-5. Bills 6-2, just for context.
Yeah, Dolphins. Honestly, man, Tua going out just ruined that stretch of the season. Dolphins can't click when you don't have him. So
they didn't have one game with over 200 passing yards. I don't think they had one with over 150 passing yards.
Yeah, they went and got Tyler Huntley and then killed him.
Skylar Thompson, Huntley played like nobody could.
Bills, on the other hand, Bills lost to the Ravens. Who else? Somebody else. And they lost 2 in a row. But outside of that, Josh Allen's been very good.
Last week they beat the shit out of the Seahawks.
1 interception. James Cook has been a great running back. He's been efficient. 4 yards a carry.
Dolphins
7 touchdowns.
1-2 on the road this season.
Bills I understand why.
Bills are 3-0 at home. Mm-hmm. These are two teams they play twice every year, obviously, division opponents. I think the Bills are going to come in. I think they're going to
favored by 6 at home.
I think they're going to roll. I think they're going to win by more than 6. But I got the Bills.
I could see them winning, but I could also I definitely pick them winning. I could see them winning by more than 6. But with the Dolphins team still having Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mostert, A-Chain.
Yeah, I mean, it's NFL. It could always be a close game. But
I think the Bills are going to win, but I don't want to say more than that. I'd say over 50 points, though, which is the 49.5 would be the line there.
So we both got the Bills. Let's move on next game.
Broncos at Ravens.
If you put a gun to your head and you said a 5-3 matchup, the Broncos 5-3 is one of the most astounding things in my life. With Bo Nix
3-1 away.
3-1 on the road with a rookie quarterback who's somehow he doesn't look good.
It's Sean Payton.
Sean Payton maybe figuring it out.
It got to be, right?
I guess him and Russell Wilson just didn't mix, and they're taking on the 5-3 Ravens, who, I mean, before last week we were like, this is the best team in the NFL. Then they come and lose to the Browns, Jameis Winston and the Browns.
But they also lost 2 games earlier in the season before they went on their big hot run, where it was like, what's going on with the Ravens?
I think it's a streaky team. I still think they're going to end up being one of the best teams in the NFL, a Super Bowl contender.
Ravens at home, favored by 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5 is a little.
That's a lot. That's
for
a big
the NFL.
Spread.
That's huge for me. I'm not touching that spread, but I do think the Ravens -500 money line too. So obviously Vegas thinks the Ravens are a lock for this.
I guess to the benefit of the Ravens, the Browns always play them tough because they're
division opponents, the rivals, and the Ravens are probably going to respond after losing. They're at home now.
Well, yeah, they can't let the Broncos come in and do anything to them.
They're probably going to respond well.
Check in on them for the rest of the season.
And because of that, I'm going Ravens. I'm going Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I think Jackson and Henry click again. That RPO where you can either just take off as Lamar or hand it to the biggest running back in history. That's been good.
And he's fast.
Just smash the money line. Maybe not even the money line. Smash the pick button on the Ravens.
So we both got Ravens. Let's move on. This is probably the game of the week.
I was going to say that, but this is another one where we're coming in with a hurt quarterback that could seriously affect what the Packers can do.
Yeah, but 2 rivals, 2 huge rivals, 6-1 Lions at the 6-2 Packers. Lions are 3-0 on the road, Packers 3-1
at home.
Lions last week beat the Titans 52-14.
But they scored 250 yards of total offense.
Yeah, but it was because they started inside the 30 6 times.
Their kickoff return or punt returning was
and then a bunch of turnovers.
Insane.
And then the Packers coming off of a close win against the Jags, but as you said,
Jordan Love, I think he strained his groin. That's what it was.
So Malik Willis came in. Malik Willis didn't look bad, but it's still also
he held it together. Got scraped away with the win.
But it's still a backup quarterback, so it's how long can he keep that up?
Right. Yeah, he hasn't had really first team reps.
I mean, the Lions, honestly, I thought this year was going to be a letdown for the Lions.
And they're a rocket fire.
But they're a rocket fire. They've probably been one of the most impressive teams, obviously with a 6-1 record through the start of the year. I got the Lions. I think they're going to go into Green Bay. I think they're going to get a win. And I think they're going to look impressive doing it because that's just what they've been doing.
I got to agree, especially with Jordan Love being day-to-day. If you can't play with your top quarterback, that changes up the whole game. And I don't see Malik Willis being able to beat a defense, even if without Aiden Hutchinson. I don't think they can beat a defense like the Lions, just straight up. So I go with the Lions as well.
All right, let's move on. Sunday Night Football now. Your favorite team, the 4-4 Colts.
That's such a surprising record with how they've played.
Yeah, 4-4 Colts. Joe Flacco, new starting quarterback. I don't know, Joe. Joe Flacco led the Browns to the playoffs last year. So
yeah, Colts at Vikings. Minnesota favored by 5. You got Sam Darnold dropped 2 in a row now.
Yeah, after 5-0 start, 2 straight losses.
Down to earth, but still not playing bad. You know, he's.
I mean, they had a 2-point loss to the Lions at home. Could have gone either way.
And that's the Lions we're talking about.
And then last week,
at the top of the.
Last week they lost to the Rams.
Which that I would say was a surprise, but they had a healthy Cooper Kupp, a healthy Puka Nacua. You know,
there were some bad missed calls. I don't think it affected the end of the game, but
no.
Final
As a
score,
Saints fan, I bet you like watching the Vikings lose a close game like that.
You know, I don't hold the ill will towards the Vikings because it's like
they didn't do it. It was the refs that did.
I hate the Rams actually more because that was the one that was just blatant.
Oh yeah, that's true. They did have that.
The Vikings at least made a play.
Yeah, they tried. They went for it. Colts. They benched AR for Joe Flacco, so that'll be.
Which I think
that's
is
their best chance to win.
Definitely going to be a net positive. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably not for the future, but for right now, I don't think.
Yeah,
I think it's becoming abundantly clear Richardson's probably not a franchise quarterback.
And the issue with the Colts is they keep running into quarterback issues. Like since Andrew Luck, they haven't been able to get a quarterback to stay on the field for multiple years. So it's hard to build off of that. So I feel like we're just approaching doom.
Honestly, you can really say since Peyton because Andrew was supposed to be that and he retired early.
I was talking about like the whole tenure of Andrew Luck. So starting with him, moving forward, it's been just, nearing doom. I think that's where we're headed. Vikings smash it.
But yeah, I got the Vikings too. I think they rebound. I think they move to 6-2. Minnesota all day.
Monday night prime time.
Rematch of the Super Bowl from a couple years ago.
But with a way different team.
Yeah,
Buccaneers at Chiefs.
The 4-4 Bucks, the 7-0 Chiefs.
Bucks are probably the best 4-4 team in the NFL currently.
I mean, they're up and down, so I don't know.
But they didn't have Mike Evans last week. They lost Chris Godwin for a while. They got some stuff to back up. Bucky Irving didn't perform well last week, compared to how he has been doing. Chiefs 7-0, they always find a way. Chiefs finally get a money line that's favorable.
Yeah,
for
minus 450, minus 8.5 at home.
Yeah, I don't know what people are doing, just giving them 6-point or like minus 200 spread or money lines this whole time with 3-point spreads. Smash Chiefs, they're gonna win. The Buccaneers are hurt. Buccaneers aren't as good as they were when they faced the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, which doesn't really even matter. But I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. So this is actually my guest pick from my beautiful fiance Clara.
Shout
out
Clara.
Chiefs are her team.
Chiefs are her team.
Chiefs are her team.
It
has a lot to do with
a game.
A lot to do with
Clara. Don't watch this.
A lot to do with the Kelsey Taylor Swift connection.
Boo.
But yeah, I agree with Clara though. She had a good pick here. I think the Chiefs roll. So shout out to my beautiful fiance Clara. We got the Chiefs.
Nice. Let's roll through our UFC picks, our college football picks, our NFL picks, and then give these people the bets so they can make some money at home this weekend.
All right, top to bottom, I'm gonna give you my picks.
I was gonna go bottom to top.
Well, there we go.
All right, go.
All right, I got Brandon Moreno, Aaron Blanchfield, Derek Lewis, Chow Machado, Marc-Andre Barrio. Forgot how to say it. Barrio. I'm sorry, Marc-Andre.
He's French.
Mike Malo.
He's a French Canadian too, isn't he?
He is, yes. Yeah. Quebec.
Your wife would hate you.
Mike Malo, Ohio State, Miami Hurricanes, Oregon Ducks, Georgia Bulldogs, Pitt Panthers, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, and my beautiful fiance Clara with the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right, I got Mike Mallet or Mike Malo. I got Dustin Stoltzfus, Brinson Ribeiro, Derek Lewis, Aaron Blanchfield, and Brandon Moreno for the UFC fights at UFC Edmonton.
Okay.
College football week 10, I'm taking Ohio State, I'm taking Miami, I'm taking Oregon, I'm taking Georgia, and I'm taking the SMU Mustangs. And then for NFL this week, week 9, I'm going Bills, Ravens, Lions, Vikings, and Chiefs to wrap it all up. That's my 15 picks. I always look at it historically. We're both hovering around like 64, 65 for picks for total lifetime cum at this point. What are you bringing to the table for bets?
All right, Alex. So 5 bets. I have 1 MMA, 2 college football, 2 NFL.
Nice. I brought 2 NFL. 1 college football and 2 UFC. I was going to go a different order, but I was like, I didn't mess up.
I'll just give you my 5, you give me your 5.
Sounds good.
So I have 2 units on everything. So So keep that in mind as I go through them. First one is going to be the Derek Lewis money line at plus 150.
I like that one.
Then I'm going to go the Duke Blue Devils plus 20 at minus 110 odds. Closer game than we think against the Hurricanes. Then I'm going to go the Oregon Ducks at minus 14.5 point favorites at minus 110 odds.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go the Buffalo Bills at minus 6.5 point favorites at minus 105 odds. Then I'm going to go the Detroit Lions minus 3.5 points at plus 100 odds.
Nice. I like those. So my 5, I'm going to start off with Brinson Marrero. I keep doing it. Brinson Ribeiro plus 140. Mike Mallett minus 250. Ohio State minus 185. Lions minus 185. And the Vikings minus 250. All 2 units on mine as well. Keep it easy. Keep it normal.
All right, Alex. I think that wraps up episode 67. Check us out next week. We're gonna have episode 68. We're gonna cover UFC Vegas Fight Night 100.
That's a big deal.
Magny versus Prates.
100 Apex fights. That's pretty crazy.
We're gonna recap our football, MMA picks and bets.
And we'll huddle up for some more. That'll be college football week 11.
NFL week 10, which is hard to believe.
Already. It's blowing by.
But yeah, check us out next week, episode 68.
Peace.